One game, Arsenal at the Emirates against Atletico Madrid. And there's a reason the whole of Europe is watching this one. If you've been following this Champions League campaign, you already know this tie is hanging on a knife's edge. But what the bookmakers haven't fully priced in, I'll show you that in a second. If you're watching this before kickoff, stay with me, because there are 2 or 3 markets on this each game that the bookmakers have priced almost perfectly wrong. And I'm going to show you exactly why with actual numbers, not vibes. Right, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. Quick thing before we get into it, hit that subscribe button. We do match analysis like this before every major game. No fluff, no made-up predictions, just data, patterns, and real probabilities. You'll want to be here. Before we get into it, there is one number about Arsenal's home record in European football this season. That changes how you look at every single market in this game. Stay with me, because most people betting this match are completely overlooking it. We're going deep on this one. Tactics, team news, the markets, and I'm going to give you the picks I'm actually backing, with the exact numbers behind them. No hype, no guessing. Let's go. Right? So here's where we are. First leg finished 1-1 in Madrid. Victor Gyökeres won and converted a penalty before halftime. Julian Alvarez, who is genuinely terrifying in this competition, leveled from the spot in the second half. Arsenal then had a third penalty overturned by VAR in the 77th minute. If that stands, this conversation is completely different. But it didn't, and so here we are, perfectly level. Second leg at the Emirates, Tuesday night. Now let me give you the number I mentioned earlier. Arsenal have not lost a single Champions League game this entire season. 13 games, unbeaten. That is a club record, equaling what Arsene Wenger's side did when they reached the final back in 2006. 13, unbeaten, and 5 of their 6 home UCL games this season wins. The 6th was a draw. This is not a team that loses at the Emirates in Europe. The data backs that up hard. Here's what makes this genuinely interesting from a betting perspective. People look at this and see a 50-50 tie. 1 away goal each, level on aggregate. In theory, anyone's game. But that framing ignores a massive structural advantage Arsenal have going into this leg. First, Atletico's away record in this Champions League campaign. They've lost 3 of their 6 away games in the competition, 3 losses, and their record against English clubs in UEFA competition recently to wins from their last 12 matches. That's W to D to L8 for those keeping score. Second, Arsenal's expected goals at home in this UCL campaign comes in at 14.35 across 6 games. That's roughly the point for XG per home match. They create chances consistently against good teams. Third, and this is the one that matters for your selections, Atletico are missing Jose Giménez and Pablo Barrios. Giménez is their first choice center back. Barrios is the engine in their midfield. Both out. That means Hancko, who has conceded a penalty in 2 of his last 3 club appearances, is likely to start at the Emirates against Gyökeres. Think about that for a second. Alright, here are the selections I'm looking at for this one, and I'll be straight with you on each one. Number 1, Arsenal to win, at around 1.70. The implied probability is about 59%. My estimate, using their UCL home record, XG data, Atletico's away weakness, and the injury picture, I'm putting Arsenal's real win probability closer to 62%. That's a positive expected value bet. Not massive, but the edge is there. And it's backed by data, not gut feeling. Confidence, 58%. Number 2, over 3.5 match cards, if you can find 1.60 or better. This is a Champions League semi-final elimination match. Atletico will foul to disrupt Arsenal's build-up. Coke, Cardoso, and Hancko are all high-fouling players, especially Hancko, who's already walking a disciplinary tightrope. Arsenal press with intensity on both sides. You've got players who accumulate bookings in high-intensity knockout football. 3 to 5 total cards is a realistic range. Confidence, 55%. Number 3, Victor Gyökeres anytime scorer, but only at 2.50 or higher. Let me be clear about this one. At 2.30, the market has him priced fairly. There's no value there. But if your bookie has him at 2.50 or above, that's where you get a positive expected value edge. He's scored 19 goals this season across all competitions. He scored against Atletico in the first leg. He scored twice against them in October. He had a 9-point-to-match rating against Fulham just 3 days ago. 2 goals, 1 assist. He arrives in the best Form of his Arsenal career. Shop around for that to 0.50. Confidence on the goal itself, 42%. Now let me tell you how I think this game actually plays out, because understanding the flow matters more than just picking winners blindly. Arsenal dominate possession from the off. They'll have somewhere around 57 to 60% of the ball. Atletico sit in a mid to deep defensive block and look to hit on the counter through Alvarez and Lookman. The first goal is going to be decisive. If Arsenal score first, Atletico have to open up, and this becomes a very different game. If Atletico somehow nick one early, it gets very nervy at the Emirates. Most likely, Arsenal score in the first hour, Atletico make it uncomfortable in the final 20. Possible extra time, possible a single goal margin deciding it. This is not a game for the faint-hearted, but structurally, Arsenal are in the better position. Kickoff is Tuesday night. Team news drops a few hours before, and Odegaard's fitness is still not confirmed. That could shift the odds slightly, so if you're playing the Arsenal win, watch for any late news around his availability. If he starts, Arsenal's creative output goes up meaningfully. Also, don't sleep on the cards market. That one tends to drift toward kickoff as the casual money piles into goals and results. If you can get over 3.5 cards at 1.60 before it shortens, that's where the quiet value sits. You know how we do it on this channel. We'll drop daily the odds of this on our shorts during the cause of the day. Now let's move to Wednesday night. Bayern Munich versus PSG. UCL semifinal second leg, 9 goals. 9. That wasn't a Saturday league score. That was Bayern Munich versus Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League semi-final first leg. Last Tuesday, the craziest night in European football in years. And the wild part? Bayern lost 5-4, but this thing is absolutely wide open. Coming Wednesday night, they go again. Allianz Arena, full house. Company's back on the touchline. PSG missing their best right back, and I've been grinding the data since dawn. Now, Bayern Munich versus PSG. Semi-final second leg. Bayern trail 5-4 on aggregate. They need to win tonight, and they know it, which means this is not going to be a cagey, defensive match. It cannot be, and that one fact alone changes everything about how we approach the markets. Let's build this properly. So, let me give you the situation in 30 seconds for anyone who missed the first leg. PSG won in Paris, 5-4. Outrageous game. Kvaratskhelia scored twice. Demo scored twice. Bayern pulled it back from 5-2 to 5-4 and for insane minutes. Then Hakimi, PSG's right back, pulled up with what looked like cramp, but turned out to be a muscle tear. Confirmed out for tonight. Now tonight, Bayern come back to the Allianz Arena in front of 75,000 people, and they have to overturn a 1-goal deficit. A win by 1 goal sends this to extra time. Win by 2 or more, Bayern are through. PSG traveled to one of the most hostile away venues in European football, missing their most important defensive outlet on the right side. Both teams are fully rested. PSG set their entire starting lineup for a domestic game last weekend. Bayern rotated against Heidenheim, so nobody's carrying fatigue going into this. What that means for us, everything is on the line, everyone is fresh, and both teams are going to attack. Here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the angle most people are missing. Hakimi is one of the best right backs in the world. But it's not just about what he provides going forward. His absence tonight completely reshapes PSG's defensive right side. Bayern's left side is Luis Díaz, the Colombian. He scored in the first leg. He's electric with the ball, one of the most direct wide players in the Champions League this season. In the first leg, Hakimi was there to contain him. Tonight, PSG are going to use Zaïre-Emery at right back. He's 20 years old, a midfielder by trade. And look, he's done it before. He's athletic, he's intelligent, but putting a natural midfielder against Luis Díaz in a UCL semi-final second leg when Bayern are desperate to score, that's pressure very few 20-year-olds handle without a moment of doubt. Bayern's coaching staff, Kompany, is back on the touchline Wednesday tonight after serving his suspension in Paris. They will have spotted this. Every wide ball to Díaz on that left side is a live opportunity for Bayern. It's not a weakness PSG can hide. That's your first tactical edge going into this game. Now let me show you something that genuinely surprised me when I pulled the numbers. Bayern and PSG have both scored 42 goals in this season's Champions League. That's not a coincidence. That's two elite attacking machines colliding. Bayern are averaging 3.2 goals per game in this competition. PSG are at 2.7. PSG scored in at least 2 goals in 8 consecutive Champions League knockout ties. That's a joint record. And Bayern just set the single-season Bundesliga scoring record this term, 170-plus goals in the league alone. Harry Kane has 13 Champions League goals this season, 13. He's chasing Mbappé for the Golden Boot with at least one game left. He scored from the spot in Paris. He's going to be central to everything Bayern do tonight. Kvaratskhelia, on the other side, have 10 goals, 7 goals in 7 UCL knockout games. I'll say that again. 7 goals in 7 knockout appearances. That's not luck. That's a player who shows up when it matters most. The first leg ended 5-4. There's a reason this was described as possibly the greatest Champions League semi-final ever played. These two teams do not know how to play boring football against each other. Alright, so what does all of this actually mean for the markets? Because data is one thing. Value is what we're after. I'm going to give you 3 levels. A safe anchor pick, a mid-risk play, an ASGA for those who want the bigger payout, all backed by what I just walked you through. Pick 1, the anchor. Over 3.5 goals. This is the one. Think about it. 9 goals in the first leg. Bayern need multiple goals to go through. PSG will counter at pace. Both teams 40 to plus UCL goals each this season. The over 3.5 typically lands around 1.60 to 1.70 depending on your book. Implied probability from the bookmaker is roughly 60%. I put the real probability closer to 70% based on everything we've looked at. That's positive expected value. That's where you want to be. Pick 2, the mid-risk play. Both teams to score, yes, combined with Harry Kane anytime scorer. PSG will not sit and park a bus. Luis Enrique doesn't do that. And with Kvaratskhelia available and Bayern pushing forward, they'll get opportunities on the counter. BTTS has landed in basically every game these two teams have played in this competition this season. Kane at anytime scorer prices, typically around 1.80 to 0.00, is a genuine value pick. 13 goals this season. One of those in Paris. He's in the form of his career, and Bayern need him to score tonight. When you combine BTTS and Kane anytime, you're building a correlated combination where the match script actually supports every single leg. That's how SGA letters should work. Pick 3, the high-risk SGA, and for the bigger swing, Bayern win. Both teams to score, over 3.5 goals total. Kvaratskhelia has scored in 7 straight UCL knockout games. Kane is the leading English scorer in Champions League history and is on fire right now. If this game goes anywhere near the way the first leg did, and the data says it might, this combination runs. Don't stack this unless you're comfortable with the risk. It's not the anchor, it's the high reward option for those who want it. Here's the thing about a game like this, the odds shift. Right now, before the team news confirmation, before the starting lineups drop officially, the bookmakers still haven't fully priced in every implication of Hakimi's absence on that right flank. Once those lineups are confirmed and everyone sees Zaïre-Emery there, the Bayern attack down the left narrative will price tighter. So, if you're watching this before kickoff, that window is closing. If you've already missed it, that's fine too. The in-play over goals market will be live. And if the first 20 minutes go the way I think they will with Bayern pushing high and early, you'll get your window there as well. Wherever you're watching from tonight, enjoy the game. This one is going to be special. Before you go, quick favor. If this analysis added value to your preparation for tonight, drop a like on the video. It genuinely helps the channel reach more people who are trying to do this the right way, with research, not guesswork. And leave your prediction for the score in the comments. I want to see what you're thinking. Last man standing picks welcome to. If you want to stay informed for the UCL final, whether it's Bayern or PSG going through tonight, subscribe and hit the bell. We'll have the full analysis on the final as soon as the lineup is confirmed. Share this with your group chat if you've got people debating tonight's game. Save them the research time. And one more thing, bet responsibly. This is research and analysis, not financial advice. Never put on more than you're comfortable losing. Use deposit limits. Take the free tools your bookmaker offers. Enjoy the game as a game first. Alright, tonight's going to be electric. Let's see if they top that first leg. I'll see you in the comments.